You are Locked On Lakers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Los Angeles Clippers come out red hot. Lakers lose another starter due to an injury. And LeBron and Luka, they're the kings of LA. We talk about it all on this Laker-Clippers crossover. I'm Dave Palet, and again, joined by my good friend Pete Fox. And it's always a lot of fun to do a show with Pete. Pete, of course, covers the Clippers on a regular basis. So if you're looking for any postcast stuff with the Clippers, Pete's your guy. And again, Pete, you also do a number of other teams in Los Angeles as well on Locked On as well.
Dodgers right around the corner. Excited to see they can back it up, and you'll be covering some of those games this season on the Dodgers postcast. We're excited about that season and some changes coming ahead for next year's football season. We're going to do more postcasts, not just during the regular season. We're going to do them all year long for the Chargers. And they're going to be expanded, so like an hour long. And I think Trojans are going to stay the same, but some changes coming this year for football, which is kind of cool. I'm a little jealous of your intro. It's cooler than mine. Postcast intro is cooler.
Oh, that's funny. All right, we're going to get into the game in just a second, but of course, want to mention the guys over at FanDuel first. Look, when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off and you want to get in on the fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in action. If you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets in Same Game Parlay. Don't forget, right now, FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Hold on, did you just read the whole spot, Dave?
I think I read longer than they even asked, but hey,
you read the whole spot. Now what are you going to do?
I left a big paragraph out.
You gotta read it again in 10 minutes.
I know I left a big paragraph out, but I don't know what to tell you.
You're like the Clippers. Right. You're fumbling the ball all over the place.
So, Pete, we'll start off because obviously we have Laker fans, you have Clipper fans. We'll start off with the bad news as far as how are you feeling right now? 106-102, Lakers win. They continue to play great basketball on our end, and for you as a Clipper guy right now, what's the feeling like on your side of things?
That this team is struggling to be mediocre is what it feels like. They are trying their hardest to keep their head just barely above water, and that's what they're doing. It's a lot of hoping that they can figure it out. It's a lot of, oh, so close, or you're frustrated because they show you glimmers of hope, spurts of being good, but there's no ability to maintain that good play. You can put your finger on a variety of stats tonight as to why the Clippers lost this game. Usually there's one, maybe two. Tonight, like usual with the Clippers, there's a handful of them, right? I think you could say they lost this game because their three-point shooting was atrocious. James Harden continued to throw up bad looks, 1 for 10 from beyond the arc. The turnovers, a problem once again. Anytime the Clippers lose, it's always a part of the discussion. They could not hold on to the ball. Ugly turnovers. Harden, Sean the Bomb says, horrendous. I agree. It was awful. His ISO play with the I'm going to be fancy between the legs. Yeah, it works sometimes, but it also is a liability for the Clippers. Pass the ball, move the ball, play offense, stop giving the Lakers easy rebounds and run out baskets. I mean, it's just a lot of bad basketball mixed in with some halfway decent basketball where you're like, all right, they started off good, 7 of 9. They were had a 10-point lead pretty early. You felt good about that, right? Chris Dunn leads the scoring for the Clippers at halftime. That feels good. Zubac plays out of his mind. That's good. Kawhi is garbage. James Harden was, tolerable, I guess, at 18 points. So it's just, they're still trying to figure out who they are, I think, find some rhythm. And There's not a consistent ability to kind of do what you need to do, right? And take care of business, make easy baskets, slow the game down when you need to, not turn over the ball when it's tight. Like the perfect example for me was, I wrote it down specifically because I'm like, this will sum up the game for you from a Clipper perspective. Chris Dunn makes a great steal in the fourth quarter and then fumbles the ball out of bounds. That was the Clippers tonight. That's the whole game right there. Great defensive play, fumbles it out of bounds. They're within 2 points. What happens next? Turnover, down 6, timeout. Basically, the game was over. It's like, oh, we're so close. It's like you're at a bar and you're talking to a girl who's way out of your league. And she gives you her phone number and then you spill a drink all over it. Or, she types it into your phone and then you lose your phone or you break your phone and you're like, that's what it's like with the Clippers. It's like, we're so close to being good, but it's turnover, fumble, it's frustrating. Anyway, on the other side of things, from the Laker perspective, it wasn't like they were just handed the game. Their defense has turned around so dramatically since Luka Doncic showed up. They were ferocious. They were double and triple teaming Kawhi and the shooter. Pretty much whoever had the ball, they were double teaming that person all night. And as the Clippers tried to feed the open man, like they would steal the ball on the pass or tip it or get another turnover. It's like, there's a double team, find the open man. They're like, trying to throw the ball across the court and it gets stolen or thrown out of bounds or not the normal sort of thing because their energy was so high and so ferocious. They just played a very, very good game tonight. I mean, Laker fans have to feel good about the way things are going.
You know what? The Lakers played last night, and when the Lakers obviously took the court today, I'll be honest with you, they look sluggish. They look slow. Even the crowd seemed kind of out of it. It was kind of quiet for Laker fans considering the Clippers were back in the building. As you mentioned, Clippers jump out to a 5-0 lead, and then they jump out to a 17-7 lead, forcing the Lakers to call a timeout. And the Lakers are in trouble now because Luka picks up a second foul. Austin Reeves leaves the game in the first quarter with a calf injury that could be out for a long time. We don't know. Calf injuries, as we know, are the same problems that Luka had issues with when he didn't play from December 25th till basically the trade. And so the Lakers losing Austin Reeves, that could be big, but they came out to me really flat. I was like, man, if you're going to throw the towel in, you don't want to do it against the Clippers because, look, Laker fans will act like the Clippers aren't important, but for a number of years, the Clippers have had the Lakers number. So I was disappointed as a Laker fan that they didn't play well. But you're right, things changed, and things changed for the Lakers. And defensively is where things have gotten better, which is really weird because the Lakers in that trade, you lose Anthony Davis, maybe the best defender in the NBA, and you lose Max Christie, who was basically given the job of guarding the other team's best player. So you lose two great defenders, yet they're playing fantastic defensive basketball with rotations, knowing when to double team, the spacing on the floor of knowing where to be so they can rotate around. Yeah. And people might hate this if you don't like the Lakers and you don't like LeBron. This is LeBron. It's LeBron's effort on the defensive side that has changed everything for the Lakers.
And his offensive game too is, picked up dramatically. And it's one of these things where anytime he's got the ball in his hand, you're like, he doesn't even need a good look and you feel like it's going to go in, tonight he 12 of 21, better than 50%, 28 points, 13 rebounds, 37 minutes for a 37-year-old on the second night of a back-to-back.
40-year-old. What
did I say? 30-year-old. He's 37. Playing like, played 37 minutes like a 37-year-old at 40. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I was talking to the guys in Kansas City today, and they were asking about LeBron, and I was like, he's playing like a 30-year-old. It's remarkable. And, you look on the other side of things and the Clippers are still like, oh, we got to keep Kawhi's minutes. We can't let him play too many minutes. It's like, yeah, because he can't score. Like 8 of 17, 21 points. I mean, it looked way uglier than that. And if it wasn't for Zubac and Chris Dunn, this game would have been completely out of hand. 27-16 for Zubac. What a night. He missed 2 shots. James Harden, I don't care if I can't make a shot. I'm going to keep shooting. 5 of 22, 1 of 10 from beyond the arc. I mean, it was just awful. And Chris Dunn, had 14 in the first half and finished the game with 14. So
you got in foul trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just get teased with good play. Here's some good play. We're going to go on a little run here and get the game back to interesting and even. And then we're going to turn right around and give up a run and fumble it away. And I don't know. One of the things, we'll talk about this after the break, that the Clippers do on a regular basis is they do not finish quarters well. And tonight it was better. So there is some positive in this loss, 106-102, the final, as the Lakers improved to 36-21, while the Clippers are now 32-27. Sorry, 37-21. It had not updated yet. So we'll take a break, and then Dave's going to read the Locked On FanDuel spot for you again. In case you missed it, here it is. Pete Fox, Dave Palet, Locked On Clippers, Lakers crossover postcast.
Look, when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and now there's no better place than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or you want to bet on the fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets in the same game parlay. For example, if you love the Lakers or you love the Clippers and you want to say, you know what, I think Luka's going to get more than 30, and I think Kawhi is going to get more than 20, then guess what? You're going to be very happy. Right now, FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So right there, when you look at the Lakers and obviously the Clippers, and they're going to run this thing back on Sunday at 6:30. Obviously, as a Laker fan, very excited to see the Lakers get another win, Pete. And as you said, they're playing better. They're actually getting better. They haven't figured out exactly, certain guys, with absence of Anthony Davis in the middle. Jackson Hayes tonight had one of the more interesting box scores where Jackson Hayes, you think he's the tallest guy on the floor for the Lakers and he's a starter and he's going to do something, the ball's going to fall to him somewhere. Jackson Hayes had 1 rebound tonight, and it came at the end of the game. I mean, it's amazing that you can play 26 minutes, be the tallest guy on the floor, and you end up with 1 rebound. It was kind of crazy. And so I'm thinking, if I'm the Clips, I'm going Zubac the entire way from beginning to end until the Lakers figure out a way of an answer to stop him. And so Zubac finished with 27 and 16 boards, which is a fantastic night. I mean, by far the best night of the Clippers. But I thought going into this game, they were going to try and get him 40 points. And that's not what the Clippers did. They went with the big name guys as far as what's Kawhi going to do and what's James Harden going to do. And I thought the Clippers kind of helped the Lakers out when the Lakers were able to sit there and put a run together after the Clippers had the 17-7 lead. They didn't go back because we're so 3 heavy in this league. And LeBron has spoken about it. And I know you're an old-time basketball fan like me and saying, look, I understand 3 counts more than 2, but if you aren't making those shots consistently, I mean, you said it a second ago, James Harden never stopped shooting. He only made 1 of his last 13 shots, yet number 40 is sitting there throwing everything right in. I mean, the Lakers had no answer for him, and you lose the game by 4 points. It has to be a little bit frustrating if you're a Clipper fan, even if you're Zubac, going, how can that be the game plan when they couldn't stop me the entire night?
9 of 37 for beyond the arc. And Mike Fratello, the Clippers color commentator, said that very thing. He's like, they should come down the floor every time and give the ball to Zubac. And I say that like every night, right? And I'm not saying that should be their only offense, but when things are not going your way in one department or the other, you need to get those easy baskets. And that's a good way of doing it because Zubac is very, very capable. I thought he played a very athletic game tonight. He made a lot of shots where you're like, well, that's not going in. And it did go in. He was very, very good in the paint under the basket tonight with guys hanging all over him. And that's what Fratello said. He's like, they got to give the ball to Zubac more. He's not missing anything. And ultimately he missed 2 shots all night. And one of them was late in the fourth quarter. So yeah, I don't know what again, I think a lot of that has to do on a nightly basis. The guys that watch the Clipper postcast hear me bitch and moan about James Harden's ISO game, where he just comes down, crosses over half court, stands at the top of the key or the wing, dribbles the ball between his legs 4 or 5 times, and chucks up a look, right? And more often than not, it's a bad look. And then he still figures out a way, because it's hard to, I have to always go into the description more. And it's like, I don't have a problem with James Harden shooting. I have a problem with him doing that specific look where he dribbles over the half court line, does not pass the ball, does not give anybody else an opportunity to touch the ball, and then just chucks up a bad look, trying to draw a foul late. And it's usually always late in the clock. So he has to throw up a bad look. And that is just a liability for the Clippers. It kills their rhythm and it kills their momentum. And he does it more often than not. But, at the end of the night, he always has a decent stat line. He'll score 20, 25, 30 doing that. And tonight it wasn't as good because it was even worse. So, that was a big part of what they do wrong. I have also argued that, I'm not saying that Bogdanović should be a starter, but it feels like the offense is better, moves better when he's at the point and has the ball in his hands, because he's willing to pass. He wants to pass the ball around. It helps when he scores. Tonight he had an off night with just 6 points, 2 threes. And that was it for him. And they need more off the bench. They've been relying on the bench a little bit lately, calling them, the bench mob. But tonight the bench mob was absent. What is it, 8, 10, 14 points, and Coffee was 1 of 7. That's from the floor. It's just not good enough. They're just too streaky, obviously missing Norm Powell, but you go 7 of 9 to start the game and then back it up with 3 of 15. When you're about halfway through that and you've gone 7 of 9 and now you're 3 of 9, don't you just try to find easy baskets? I don't know. I don't know what they do, what goes on there. And I feel like Harden is just like, give me the ball, I'll fix this. And sometimes he does, but more often than not, I don't think he can put a team on his back anymore. He's too old, not for an entire game anyway. And then you look at their defense, it's a very good on average for the whole season, but they're 3rd in the league. But there are times when they just get lazy. I wrote it down 4 times. Almost once per quarter, they get lazy on defense. They gave up 10 of 11 to start the second quarter for the Lakers. That's not just the Lakers. That's lazy defense. And it's a problem, So they've got a lot of problems that they have to figure out if they're gonna make the playoffs or make a run in the playoffs. It's just too inconsistent, and they do not have anything to rely on. As far as, all right, this is what we can do now that we're not playing well, or, hey, we need to now put our foot on the gas and finish this game off. They don't have that. It's always just survival.
So for the Lakers on the other side, I think honestly, as a fan, as a player, as a coach, you never want to question effort, meaning that, you're watching and what it looks like good basketball, and saying, those guys giving everything they have. And when I look at the Lakers and I say this team is led by LeBron's actions and the fact that LeBron's out there yesterday, 24 hours ago, they were worried that he wouldn't play today because of maybe a hamstring strain. Well, LeBron's out there. If you watched Luka the last minute and a half of the game, he kept clutching at his chest. Either he took an elbow to his chest or some kind of chest pains. Anyway, it made me nervous. I'm watching Reeves, who's walking over to Luka asking, are you all right? But you look at the guys that are, not only do they get paid a ton of money, but also they take pride in being guys that people look up to. If you look at the Lakers box score, it was all Luka and LeBron scoring wise. Look at the double digits. Look how many points they had. Those 2 guys carried them, but they didn't pull themselves out. You made the joke about, Kawhi, who's, always with his minutes or missing games and created the whole load management deal. The Lakers don't have that situation right now, where I think a lot of Laker fans, including myself, believe this team could get to the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. And believe it or not, wouldn't be shocked if they can basically outplay Oklahoma City in the playoffs, because Oklahoma City is so young that playoff basketball is different. And Luka and LeBron understand big games. And if we saw an NBA Finals of Celtics Lakers this year, I don't think Laker fans would be surprised at this point. We're dreaming big. And we feel confident that this team's only going to get better. For Clipper fans, how far do you expect the team to go?
I've said this over and over again. If the Clippers finish out of the play-in tournament, meaning what is that? The 6th seed or higher? I doubt they'll be any higher than the 6th. So that would mean their first round matchup is the 3, or how does that work again? I forget.
Get with the play-in, and then, but yeah, let's say everything sorts out, then they'd have to face the 3. I mean, they could face the Lakers in the first round.
Right. Or Memphis or Denver. Those are the most likely possibilities, right? Yep. If they were to get by that, I think Clipper fans would be ecstatic and feel like this season was a success and all is well, even if they got smoked and swept in the second round, which I think is exactly what would happen. But more than likely, if they are the 6 or in the play-in tournament and figure out a way to get out of that, that's it for them. I just don't see them finding extended rhythm and momentum. It's too their spurts are not long enough, right? If we saw the Clippers go on a run for a week or even 3 or 4 games where they beat some decent competition 3, 4, 5 nights in a row, like we saw last year when James Harden showed up, they went on a nice run, and you're like, all right, I think there's something here. Then I think we'd have a different attitude. Right now, it's like, it's a bunch of throwing it against the wall and seeing what sticks. And it's not sticking for very long. It's like, all right, that looked okay tonight. Can we do it again next time out? No, probably not. There's just no rhythm. There's no momentum. There's nothing to rely on. There's nothing that makes you go, okay, they're ironing out the wrinkles, right? It's just like wrinkles and tears and bumps. It's all splotchy. Whereas the Lakers have acquired new players and have figured it out right away. Now, the one fear I have with the Lakers tonight, and I think a lot of people can agree with this, is LeBron is still old. He's not getting any younger. I don't care how great he's playing now. Can he keep this up? Probably. But can you keep it up with just 2 scores? Especially if Austin Reeves has a lengthy injury. They're going to need
your 3rd score.
Yeah, they're going to need more. And I looked I wasn't the only one who said this, by the way. Luka scored 31 tonight. Really? Because that was a pretty bad game. I was like,
it was a bad game.
Yeah,
it was the 4th quarter. He took over when they needed him most. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
Exactly.
Luka's legs aren't there. Like it's kind of amazing that Luka had more points than LeBron from 31 to 28, because it didn't feel like that. And also, Luka usually gets a lot more rebounds, only had 2 rebounds, only had 5 assists. But, the Austin Reeves situation, and just, make an excuse, is that you're thinking Austin Reeves is going to be your 3rd option. And then all of a sudden he's out in the first quarter and there's no, preparation to get ready for it. So we got to see what it looks like on Sunday. What kind of moves did the Lakers make to say, hey, somebody here has to pick it up? Because the Lakers lost 2 starters in the last 2 days. You lost Rui and you lost Reeves. So Dorian Finney-Smith's going to get the start again on Sunday. Who steps in Austin Reeves' spot? Probably going to be Gabe Vincent, who's not going to be the guy that can get you the 23 points a night the way Austin Reeves has been playing. Yeah. But I'm with you. Injuries, you never know. I mean, as long as Luka and LeBron stay healthy. You said something interesting a second ago. I just want to touch on. You always talk about in sports, that window of opportunity, meaning the window of opportunity to win a championship. The Dodgers are going through a great window right now. We still have guys in their prime and will be in their prime for a number of years. And then, you look at, the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're young and they just won a championship. The Lakers, with this Luka trade, basically has opened that window of opportunity for possibly the next 10 years. The guys on the Clippers that you talk about, the names that everybody knows, whether you're a Clipper fan or not, the Kawhis, the James Hardens, those guys, as you said, they're getting older. So does Steve Ballmer say the window of opportunity is expected to win a championship right now? Or do you think he knows what he has, and in his mind, how is this acceptable?
Look, I try to be positive, but you can't, it's hard to with this team. The cliche that always comes back into my head is it's the Clippers, right? And that's what it feels like to me. It's hard to argue. Well, it's okay. It's not okay. Like, we come in here in the postcast and we're supposed to break down the games, and it's hard to not look forward. It's hard to just focus on today, right? Because today for the Clips, in my opinion, was not good. Not much to feel good about other than Zubac's performance, but he's not a guy that you can put on, the whole team can get on his back on a regular basis. You can't build around Luka. He's not a guy that's going to help you win championships by himself. I don't think he's a guy that you build around because he's just not that guy. He's good and he's a very good piece, but you need somebody else to build around. And that was Kawhi. And how'd that go? I mean, it was okay for a little bit when he showed up. I don't know that the Paul George Kawhi thing was really great. I thought it was okay. I of course wasn't covering them back then. We did it last year and this year. I wasn't deeply entrenched with the Clippers like I am now. But I never felt like they were a threat with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So it feels to me like they're in need of a complete overhaul. I'm sorry to say it, but I don't look at this and go, what's the future look like? Even Kawhi is old. I'm sorry, he's old too. And you look at the Thunder, their oldest guy is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he's the MVP of the league, and he's 24. So
Clipper.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody on this team that you go, yeah, we're going to build around that guy. I mean, the analogy that I've made over and over again, this is like cooking a recipe without instructions, and you just keep tasting it and you're like, needs more salt, needs more salt, needs more salt. The Clippers just are like putting in more ingredients, like just throw in some garlic, that'll make it better, rather than building a team the right way or cooking a dish the right way with the right ingredients. They're like, well, we just keep getting these guys that are pretty good, not really good, not guys that you build around. And look, Ben Simmons has shown up and been pretty good. It's like, yeah, I don't have a problem with Ben Simmons. He only scored 2 points tonight, but plays defense. He passes the ball. It's like, I don't have a problem with what he's doing. But again, the, integration of all these guys, it's very choppy. It's not rhythmic. It's not smooth. It's not like, I don't feel like their rotations are good. I mean, at least when I look at the Lakers, I'm like, they've got it figured out, right? And as much as I've criticized JJ Redick, I don't know if it's because of him or because of his team or whatever, but they've got it figured out. As of right now, it looks good. The rotations are good. Everything is kind of flowing. It's rhythmic. It's smooth. It's harmonic. Harmonic. Sorry. The Clippers are not. There is no harmony there at this point in time. It's just like, well, hopefully somebody goes off and then somebody else is pretty good and they don't turn the ball over 18 times. That's kind of what you hope for on a nightly basis. Because here, look, let me tell you this. From a statistical standpoint, the Clippers won points in the paint, they won second chance points, and they won fast break points, right? Yep. So they did all of the nuts and bolts, the nitty gritty stuff that you need to do to win a game. They did all of that stuff. But what they do at the 3-point line, they shot 25%. What did they do at the free throw line? 71%. I mean, fortunately, the Lakers were not great at the free throw line either, so that kind of evened out. But
the Lakers missed 14 last night. They missed 14 free throws last night.
77% tonight for them. So yeah, neither one of them were great at the line, so that kind of evened out. Lakers did the Clippers a favor there. But you just got to be able to score, and they don't. I mean, one of my favorite quotes of all time. You're a great quotes guy. You can always pull a quote out of your ass, and I love that about you. I'm like, I wish I had more of those. But one of my favorite quotes of all time was Doc Rivers when I was covering the Clippers in the Staples Center and in the press room. He would say, "The NBA is a make-miss league, and if you don't make shots, you're not going to win." And I'm like, amen. Thank you for saying that. Because,
right.
I feel like I'm stupid when I say that, right? But it's true. You got to make more shots, and the Clippers just aren't. There's not much more to say right now.
It's funny is, by the way, my favorite, I think, quote in sports to cover. I used to cover back in the early 90s. I covered the Lakers and the Clippers. So, you go to the LA Sports Arena, there'd be like, 900 people there, and they played the guess the attendance game. And you're like, dude, I just counted 920. I mean, by hand, unless somebody's in the bathroom, I think I got this. But Bill Fitch was the coach of the Clippers, and they started off terribly. And he literally said, man, we are so bad. We're the only team that can lose 17 in a row and then go into a slump. And it was always cracked me up. But it's funny when you look at the ownerships of both teams, and I know there's a new television show that just came out yesterday on Netflix with about the Lakers and Jeannie Buss. Mark Cuban had this line, and if you're a sports fan, you'll think about it all the time if you haven't heard it. He says there are two kinds of owners out there: those owners that hate to lose games and those owners that hate to lose money. And if you're a fan of a team who has an owner who hates to lose money, I feel bad for you because you won't win. Both the Lakers and Clippers do have owners where they care about winning games. I mean, they're doing the best they can. So, look, I'm obviously, a diehard Laker fan, but I'm a huge Steve Ballmer fan, meaning that he's giving you everything he possibly can to have success, everything. And for him, he has to be frustrated. Not only is he getting older, his players are getting older, and you're like, man, I would love to see a championship one day, considering I've done everything I can to put this organization in a position to win. And the Lakers, same thing. Rob Pelinka, everybody hated him 4 months ago. Now all of a sudden, people are saying Rob Pelinka, GM of the year. Yeah, it's kind of crazy the way this works. But you have two really good owners that will do whatever they can to make sure their teams are competitive every single year.
Yeah, I can't believe Ballmer's been at this for 10 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, wow.
And I can't believe I have started thinking this, but because I've always liked what Ty Lue has done, but I'm starting to wonder if he's part of the problem and not part of the solution, from a rotation standpoint and from a ass whooping standpoint, like the famous scene in Bull Durham where he throws the bats in the shower.
Yeah.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, you lollygag the ball around the infield. Like, I feel like they need a moment like that where Ty Lue throws bats in the shower and goes, you guys are just not getting it done. And this is not okay. Because it just seems like they're like, okay, we're over 500. It's fine. It's fine. Was it fine when you won one? Did you see that commercial 100 times, or is it just me? It's probably just the Clippers broadcast. I
didn't watch the Clippers broadcast tonight. I had the national one going.
It's a CarMax commercial with 4 WNBA girls, Asia and Sue Bird, and I don't know all of their names, but like they get into her small car. They play it like 4 times a quarter. Literally, it's like every break. It's like it starts off with, it's Asia, your car is small, and I've seen the commercials so damn much. Every time anybody says the 2 words, it's fine, I hearken back to this commercial and start reciting this commercial. Was it fine when you won 1 MVP award? No, you did it thrice. They built you a statue. Anyway, I feel like the Clippers are and Ty Lue more specifically are just fine, and he's fine, but he's not good enough, or the rotations just aren't there, or something is just not clicking. Right there needs to be a come to Jesus moment, if you will, with this team. And right now they're just fine. It's fine. It's not horrible. It's not awful. It's also not great. It's merely treading water. You're like, yeah, they could win, and that would be good. It almost would feel better if they were garbage, and you're like, well, they're rebuilding, and then every now and then they'll win. But what we've got now is just complete mediocrity. It's like just good enough, and you know how that goes. Just good enough isn't good enough.
No, it's not. It's not. It's the guy that aims for that C just to pass, right? Instead of the guy that's aiming for the A. No, absolutely.
C. They're a C team. That's what they are.
I'll be honest with you, from the outside looking in, and we'll talk more about it on Sunday, but if I was Steve Ballmer or anyone else, I would go right to the big guys. I'd go to Kawhi and James Harden and say, I just expect more. I pay for more. I expect more. Yeah. And, one day both of you are going to be in the Hall of Fame, and one day you might have your jerseys retired here, but man, I expect more. I don't know. Frustration level. Pete, that was a lot of fun. Again, we'll be back in basically 2 days to do this again. Sunday night, 6:30 from Crypto. It'll be the Lakers hosting the Clippers again. I'm guessing Zubac is going to get more than 40. The Clippers are going to figure this out, that the Lakers have 0 answer for him. And I'm going for a different plan of attack if I'm the Clippers for sure. But overall, the Lakers win tonight, 106-102. The Lakers win streak continues, and we'll be back in 48 hours. But Pete, that was a lot of fun, and we'll see you Sunday.
All right, man. Have a good one. We'll talk later. Take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's the Locked On Lakers Clippers crossover postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel.